Joining us for a closer look is Republican Congressman Marlin Stutzman of Indiana. He's a member of the House Budget Committee and is knee-deep in this debate right now. Congressman, welcome to Bloomberg TV and radio. It's great to have you here. I won't even ask you to comment on what your colleague from Massachusetts said. It's Republicans who are going to get this done right now. And we spoke earlier today with Nicole Malliotakis, a Republican from New York, one of many Republicans who say they don't know if they can vote for this bill because of the potential cuts to Medicaid that would be required to make all of this work. Do you see this actually getting to a vote tomorrow? Do you think that the Republican conference is ready to pass this? Are the votes there?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me on. And, to address those particular concerns, I've got the same concern, and I know all Republicans on the Budget Committee and in the conference are concerned about cuts going into Medicaid or other benefit programs that our constituents count on those as well. And I'll tell you, I was just home last week and on our district work week, and besides people supporting the fact that DOJ and the Trump team were cleaning up the federal government and eliminating this waste, fraud, and abuse, the number one issue after that was the cost of health care. There is no doubt that health care costs are out of control. Small business owners are trying to figure out what to do. For example, one of our hospital systems told me that 60% of their patients are on Medicaid, but it's only 30% of the revenue for the system. So that kind of tells you how out of whack the Medicaid reimbursements are. So this is an important issue, not just for Democrat districts, it's an important issue for Republican districts as well.
So is this budget then unworkable if it dictates that the House Energy and Commerce Committee needs to find $880 billion worth of cuts, but they shouldn't touch Medicaid? How is the math supposed to work on that, Congressman?
Yeah, no, this is absolutely still workable because, if you talk about the tax rates, these are not additional tax cuts. They're just extending the tax cuts on the rates that happened under the first Trump administration. And that's a really important piece because that would eliminate, if we don't extend those tax rates, it would eliminate the child tax credit for over 40 million Americans. It would cut it in half. And also small businesses, which my family comes from small business, is really dependent on those lower rates. And it's important. We want to grow this economy. That's how we're going to grow out of the mess that we're in. We've got $36 trillion of debt. The budget is so badly out of balance. Trump and the DOJ team are huge supporters of the budget bill that we passed out of the House Budget Committee. And we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We need to grow this economy. We need to cut government spending. But we're also going to make sure that these programs that our constituents depend on are going to be healthy. That's really the key. We talk about the MAHA movement. This is about a colonoscopy for the federal government because the federal government needs to be a healthier system to serve the American people.
That's a pretty good line. Congressman, we got new research from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. Found the reconciliation instructions pave the way for adding at least $2.8 trillion and up to $4 trillion when it comes to deficits, including interest, through FY 2034. As the small business owner we're talking with right now, as well as the lawmaker, is that something you're comfortable with?
The direction that the federal government's going right now, no one should be comfortable with. And I hear Democrats back home, they all say the same thing. There is waste, fraud, and abuse. They just don't like the tactics that are being taken to address it. But, as a business owner, I know for our struggling companies, we go straight to the source of where the bills are being paid when the money leaves the accounts. And address it from that perspective. And then also we looked at the interest rates. I mean, right now, the interest that we're paying on our federal debt is at 3 1/3%, which is much higher than it has been. That's why we have to get this budget back in balance so that way we don't, see higher interest rates. And I appreciate our Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying that he can go back and negotiate some of these terms because right now we're paying more on our debt service for the federal debt than what we're paying for our military annually, and that's something that's just not sustainable.
I'd like to ask you, Congressman, about how tariffs fit into all of these figures when we're talking about spending and revenue coming in. We heard from the president today that he still does intend to next week implement 25% tariffs on all goods from Mexico and Canada. Of course, Canada and Mexico are the two largest countries receiving exports from your state of Indiana. What is your thought on whether those should go forward, sir?
Yeah, well, I think that President Trump has been doing a remarkable job negotiating the best deal for Americans, whether it's making sure that, there's access to mineral rights in Ukraine for the, the payback over years and the financial support that we've been giving to Ukraine. I think the lesson that we should all learn is Iraq. We went in and spent treasure and blood in Iraq, but there were no deals for resources to help recoup those. This is we have to look at this as a business transaction that, if we're going to help other countries in other parts of the world, that it's got to be good for the American people as well. I mean, just being at home and driving around the district, I know that these tariffs, I believe what they'll do is they'll actually bring business jobs here to the United States. In fact, the announcement from Apple today is just huge. And the fact that, they're looking at American cities, and right in the Midwest is exciting for us because technology jobs, manufacturing jobs. I come from an ag background. If you can start marrying tech and agriculture together and making sure that our food is healthier for the American people and it's putting more money into American people's pockets, that's a good thing all the way around. So I do trust that Trump is going to use tariffs to negotiate the best deals for the American people.